The 2025 NBA Draft is less than a month away, which means it is time for my official complete 1 through 59 mock draft 1.0. This is my first ever time making a complete mock draft. I'm not sure exactly why, but I just felt a little more inspired this year to dive into this group of prospects, and I thought it would be fun to document my predictions. Keep in mind that this is exactly what I just said, predictions, not who I would take with each pick if somehow magically I became the GM of all 30 teams. So if you disagree with my order, that is perfectly fine. Please let me know which specific pick you disagree with, and we can add the data to the pile. Before we get started, please do me a big favor and like the video, as it helps me out far more than I think you guys realize, and subscribe for more basketball related content. I am trying to hit 1 million subscribers by draft night, so let's make that happen. Starting things off with the first overall pick, the Dallas Mavericks select Cooper Flagg. Not much debate here. Flagg has been the expected number 1 pick for 2 years now, and people have been hyping him up to be the best prospect since LeBron James, not named Victor Wembanyama, throughout. Of course, people say that pretty much every year, so we will have to see how things go, but I do think Flagg will be successful in the NBA. He is a number 1 option with great size, confidence, and a pro-level bag of tricks in the half-court set. Nico Harrison did not deserve the first overall pick, but the basketball gods must have appreciated the chaos he gave to the league last year. With the second overall pick, the San Antonio Spurs select Dylan Harper. A lot of people have broken this draft into tiers, and at the very top you have Flagg by himself, but pretty much everyone puts Harper in tier 2 by himself. He is a skilled, athletic, and has great size for a point guard, and he possesses great confidence and an NBA bag of tricks. I think Harper could be a 25-5 guy in the league within just a couple years, and the thought of him playing alongside Wembanyama should be horrifying for the league. If Stephon Castle figures out how to shoot a 3-ball, then all of a sudden they might have the 3 best young players in the sport, 3 potential rookie of the years. How crazy is that? With the third overall pick, the Philadelphia 76ers select Ace Bailey. There is a lot of discussion right now about Bailey's eventual draft spot, but I think it is pretty clear he's going to be going 3rd overall. He is a small forward with an amazing NBA-ready offensive skill set that is a lot of fun to watch. His inside-the-arc creation ability is something to marvel. I found it kind of funny that Rutgers listed him at 6'11" when he is actually only 6'8" with shoes, but that is the name of the game with basketball prospects trying to get noticed. I don't care what they actually list his height as, he is going to be a good NBA player, and Philly is extremely fortunate to have been gifted this 3rd overall pick to save their sinking franchise. With Bailey alongside Tyrese Maxey, they now have a couple very promising young players who build around for years to come, who will at the same time keep their win-now dreams alive in the short term. With the 4th overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets select VJ Edgecombe. This is where pretty much everyone's mock draft begins to vary. Charlotte is a terrible team with very little to feel optimistic about. LaMelo Ball, standing as the face of their franchise, is in doubt after 3 straight years of chronic injuries, and Brandon Miller is a very promising young scorer, but he has brought little else to the table thus far, plus he himself dealt with a significant injury last year. VJ would slide into the starting lineup right away as their 2 guard, moving Miles Bridges to the forward position. VJ is an electric scorer in college who possessed some otherworldly athleticism, but more importantly, showcased he was able to score below the rim in a wide variety of different ways around different defensive positioning. He is also a terrific perimeter defensive player, possibly being the best of the 4 drafted thus far. Defense is a major weakness in Charlotte, so hopefully he can ignite something there. Another good note about VJ is that he can definitely play the point guard position, so when LaMelo is inevitably off the floor for whatever reason, or just on the bench, VJ should be able to hold down the fort and give them a more promising starting point in the half-court set. With the 5th overall pick, the Utah Jazz select Kon Kneppel. Kon is definitely an atypical top 5 pick, as nobody really views him as a number 1 option. Rather, he is widely touted to be one of the best glue guys a team could possibly have. Khan is a terrific floor spacer, knocking down 40% of his 5 threes a game in college, as well as an above average score inside the paint, using a bit of a herky-jerky awkward approach to throw off his defenders as they chase blocks. He also is a versatile defensive player who does a lot of the little things that don't show up in the box score. I realize I'm describing a certain stereotype of player, but that's just who he is. Utah definitely was hoping for a franchise-changing number 1 option when they tanked all year long, but they should be very happy to add a guy like Khan. Plus, they already have an all-star caliber number 1 in Lauri Markkanen, so I think they're going to be a better team this coming year. With the 6th overall pick, the Washington Wizards select Trey Johnson. Trey is a very interesting prospect to study because he has one NBA-ready skill that is undeniable and extremely valuable in the modern game in his three-point shooting. In college, he knocked down 39% of his nearly 7 tries a game, making him one of the very best shooters in the entire draft class. But beyond this, there are a ton of questions about what he can actually do in the NBA. His inside-the-arc scoring, playmaking, rebounding, and defense all leave a lot to be desired. But he has good size and moves well, so theoretically in a Washington system where he will be given a long leash to play through mistakes, he will hopefully hone these other aspects of his game. With the 7th overall pick, the New Orleans Pelicans select Jeremiah Fears. New Orleans is in need of a point guard of the future now that DeJounte Murray is down with an Achilles injury, and I think Fears honestly has a lot of similarities to Murray. He is a creative and fast point guard who does very well inside the arc and can defend the perimeter. His outside shot, though, like Murray, is a very disappointing 28% though. I don't think this is a glaring enough problem for the Pels to pass up on him, but it is one attribute of his game that I am genuinely worried about. With the 8th overall pick, the Brooklyn Nets select Kasparas Yakashionis. And I apologize if I pronounce his name or future names going through this list. I'm doing my best here. Brooklyn needs literally anything. I don't believe they have a single building block of their future on their roster currently. They will be swinging for a home run here, and that is what I believe Yakashionis is. He is a primary shot creator for both himself and others, who did a pretty good job in college inside the arc, but he was pretty inconsistent from deep. Of course, he took a lot of off-the-dribble looks, which hurts anyone's efficiency, but it is still something to note. Unlike Fears, Yakashionis does not have the defensive upside to fall back on, so Brooklyn really is hoping he clicks in the league. With the 9th overall pick, the Toronto Raptors select Kamen Maluak. Toronto has a lot of good young players to be happy about, but their one position they are lacking in is the 5. Not to disrespect Jakob Poeltl, but what I mean is that he is not on everyone else's timeline. Maluak appears to be the consensus number 1 center in this year's draft class, therefore I can't imagine Toronto passing on him. But I am not as in love with his game as other 5s later on. Maluak is very tall and long, helping him play above the rim, but he was late to the sport and as a result lacks a lot of skills you would hope he would have. Despite being 7'2", Maluak only averaged 6 rebounds per game in college. Now, it is important to note that Derek Lively came from the Duke system as well, and he only averaged 5 rebounds per game, so maybe this is just a system thing. Regardless, Maluak gives them interior defense and a dunker around the hoop. Plus, he flirted with a few threes in college, which would be very nice if that could translate to the NBA. With the 10th overall pick, the Houston Rockets select Nike Clifford. Houston finds themselves with a gift of a pick as they were a top 4 seed in the playoffs but still possess a lottery pick. Their team's pros and cons are pretty obvious. 2 through 4, they have a handful of exciting young athletes with loads of potential. But at both the 1 and 5, they find themselves really only one man deep. Sure, Reed Sheppard is supposed to be the heir to the throne behind Fred VanVleet, but how confident are we all that they are going to be sticking to that? In my opinion, they are going to want a guy who can play immediately. Nike is a 23-year-old, 5-year super senior who has shown an all-around skill set complete with long-range shooting, inside the arc finishing, passing, and perimeter defense. He also has very good size, which should enable him to slide over to the 2 or 3 positions when needed, which is not something Reed can do. With the 11th overall pick, the Portland Trailblazers select Igor Demon. There was a brief stretch early in the college basketball season where most people had Igor in their top 4, but as the year went on, his shooting numbers just fell off a cliff, and now a lot of mockers have him just barely outside the lottery. I'm putting him just barely in the lottery, but in the back half. Igor is a 6'9" point guard with high confidence, a good handle of the ball, and some amazing passing ability. His off-the-dribble, one-hand cross-court passes are better than most NBA point guards right now. I'm not sure what the future holds for Scoot Henderson as their 1, but I believe Igor playing alongside him shouldn't hurt anyone's development. With the 12th overall pick, the Chicago Bulls select Derek Queen. In my opinion, Queen may be the best center in this draft class, so Chicago landing him down in the late lottery would be an amazing haul. Queen is not a high flyer, but who the heck cares? He is an extremely skilled big man who can dribble up the floor and create shots, while also using his heavy, low center of gravity frame to bully people around the block or spin and hit nice fadeaways. He is also far more versatile on defense than most bigs in his class, as he has shown he can stay in front of most forwards. Don't get me wrong, Nikola Vucevic is better right now, and will be their starting 5. But Queen as a backup and future starter is an awesome pick. With the 13th overall pick, the Atlanta Hawks select Colin Murray Boyles. I'm actually a bit shocked I don't see Murray Boyles higher on more people's mocks because despite being a bit short in the position at 6'7", he is arguably the best power forward in this class. His strength and athleticism enable him to put his high basketball IQ on full display. He makes things happen all over the floor on both ends. Atlanta is a win-now team with an imperfect roster, but Boyles being added to the mix alongside last year's number 1 overall selection Zachary Risache and a legitimate most improved player candidate in Jalen Johnson would make them a real deadly team in my opinion. With the 14th overall pick, the San Antonio Spurs select Noah Essendje. Adding another French national alongside Wembanyama can't be a bad thing. Essendje is an excellent choice all things considered. He spent last year competing in both Germany's highest league as well as the Euro Cup at only 17 years old, and unlike most foreign prospects, he was quite productive there, averaging 12 a night in the Euro Cup. Essendje is a tall, long, athletic forward who did most of his damage off of cuts and in the fast break. So his creation ability with the ball in his hands will be challenged, but San Antonio is a great place to learn and he will have a stellar group of young teammates to practice with every day. Moving outside the lottery with the 15th overall pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Thomas Sorber. The rich would be getting richer here as OKC, fresh off an at the very least finals run, are picking as close to the lottery as you can without actually being in it. They are an incredible team with great depth throughout, but their one exception is the 5 spot. Isaiah Hartenstein was phenomenal this year, but he only has 2 more years set with the team and he's a bit older than everyone else. They do not have a promising young 5 to fall back on. Sorber gives them just this. He is an excellent defensive big who does best playing off ball offensively as he loves to dunk everything he can. I think Sorber makes OKC better honestly from day 1 as a backup. With the 16th overall pick, the Orlando Magic select Carter Bryant. This is one of those NBA prospects that everyone hypes up that leaves you scratching your head a bit. This is because Bryant did not accomplish very much in college, and if I had showed you his production without a name, you probably would not think anything special of it. He came off the bench most of his freshman year and only managed 6 points per game. And sure, he shot the ball well from deep and showcased he could defend 1 through 4, but I'm still a bit worried that this is another 5-star American high school product who blows away children, but when the competition gets older and stronger, they fall short. I don't mean to be too doom and gloom, I just don't think he's a first-round draft pick personally. But it seems like the consensus is late lottery potentially. I would love to be proven wrong though. Orlando loves defensive-minded wings and they desperately need shooting, so I don't think they would ignore him here. With the 17th overall pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Asa Newell. Minnesota has a very good roster, but they will be entering a crossroads after this season as a result of their ownership making cost-saving moves last summer. Apart from Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels, they don't really have much in the form of young players to be genuinely excited about. Newell was for a time considered a destined lottery pick in this class, but he fell over the past year. He is tall, but he's not really center tall at about 6'10", and his playstyle does not scream forward to you. He is pretty much an undersized 5. When he has the ball, he usually holds it, looks around, or makes a few simple dribbles into open space, but he's not really creating space. I think he does a solid job inside on both ends, but nothing he does leaves me convinced he's going to translate to the NBA really well. Still though, he is a teenager, and Minnesota will likely appreciate his size and toughness, which I can understand. With the 18th overall pick, the Washington Wizards select Liam McNeely. I think McNeely and Yakashiones have a lot in common. Both are teenage shot creators who were always going to be one-and-dones, but neither shot the ball well in their lone year of college. The biggest difference between the two is Yakashiones is a genuinely better scorer inside the arc. This is a home run swing for Washington. They already made a safe pick earlier with Trey Johnson, plus they have a young trio in Alex Sarr, Bub Carrington, and Bilal Coulibaly on their team. They can afford a Hail Mary here late in the first round. Remember, there are a lot less sure things now that we are out of the lottery. This is not a bad pick at all. With the 19th overall pick, the Brooklyn Nets select Will Riley. Another home run swing of a selection for Brooklyn. Riley is another guy who is expected to be a lottery pick by most entering college as an American consensus 5-star, but his shooting struggles and defensive woes were real. I also just now realized that Yakashiones and Riley were teammates in college, and now I have them teammates in Brooklyn, so that's kind of funny. Hopefully their 1 year of playing together will help with some chemistry and maybe result in them having a better rookie year. With the 20th overall pick, the Miami Heat select Walter Clayton Jr., an American upperclassman in a position of need for a perpetually win-now Miami team. Makes a lot of sense to me. Clayton just led the University of Florida to a national championship, so I think it makes sense for Miami to be interested in his services. Hopefully he can take some of the shot creating pressure off of Tyler Hero and company's hands. With the 21st overall pick, the Utah Jazz select Danny Wolf, a tall floor spacer who can create looks for both himself and others and can protect the hoop defensively. Sounds like the dream power forward for the modern NBA. Playing behind Lauri Markkanen will be a great opportunity for him to learn how to do what he does best at the pro level. With the 22nd overall pick, the Atlanta Hawks select Maxime Reynaud. It looks like Onyeka Okongwu may finally be getting the nod as Atlanta's full-time starting center, which means they could use an upgrade here, or at the very least a backup with more situational versatility. Reynaud looks like a terrific option here. The legit 7'1" big moves like a forward, can space the floor, can put the ball on the ground, and can man the middle and protect the rim. Honestly, I would put him a lot higher in my own draft, but most mocks currently have him really late in the first or early second even, so this may even be a stretch putting him here, but I think Atlanta would definitely be making a smart decision by taking Reynaud. With the 23rd overall pick, the Indiana Pacers select Bogoslav Markovic. The Adriatic League's best young star was Markovic. He is a 6'11" number one option forward who can create like a point guard, attack the rim, shoot the long ball in both the catch and shoot as well as off the dribble, and he is on track to be capable of defending 1 through 5. Like SNJ before him, international prospects face an uphill battle to get recognition in America as their competition's talent is not well understood, but I believe Markovic has shown more than enough in real big-time minutes over there. Indiana is a very good team that just made, at the very least, the conference finals now for 2 straight years. They can afford a home run swing late in the first. With the 24th overall pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Jace Richardson. There is a lot to like about Richardson. He is quick but balanced and has a creative bag of tricks to score inside the arc. Plus, he can knock down the long ball at a stellar clip. But the problem is he is a 6'1" shooting guard who is nothing special defensively. There are not many small twos left in the NBA, and even fewer who are not defensive hounds. Some mocks have Jace as high as the lottery, but most have him down here in the 20s, post-combine where it was revealed how short he was. I would love to see him have success in the NBA, but it is tough for small off-ball guys. OKC would give him plenty of time to develop as their team is already way too deep. It would not shock me if he gets more than half of his games played in the G League this upcoming year. With the 25th overall pick, the Orlando Magic select Ben Saraf. The Israeli point guard who spent last season competing in both the German domestic league as well as the Euro Cup. Saraf held his own quite well over there, highlighted mostly by his excellent ability to maintain a tight dribble while creating space to score inside the arc. He also did a good job creating looks for his teammates, better than most teenagers would do in such a competitive league. Now he does play slower than most guys getting picked in the first round, but I think the half-court set is the most important part of basketball, and speed does not make a big difference here. Orlando does not seem to have a point guard they are uber confident in going into the 2026 season due to Jalen Suggs' quad injury, so perhaps he will get plenty of minutes early on. With the 26th overall pick, the Brooklyn Nets select Hansen Yang. This right here is my personal called shot home run swing of this draft class. A year ago, entering his second pro season with Qingdao, I made a video on Yang because he stood out to me so much in the Chinese league. Americans love fives who can jump really high and finish lobs or swat shots 10 rows deep, but centers we consistently see go deep in the playoffs and have long careers are the more methodical, ball in their hands creators who can do at least a little bit of everything for their team. Yang plays just like that. And after barely scraping most top 100 big boards most of the year, after the draft combine where he made Americans look silly, he finally is getting his flowers. I'm not certain he will be a first round pick, but last year everyone told me I was wrong about Zach Edey saying he deserved to be picked in the lottery, and he ended up going 8th overall. Yang could be this year's version of that, but I think Yang is a far better player. With the 27th overall pick, the Brooklyn Nets select Nolan Traore. It has to be a bit concerning to see a player's NBA comparison be Killian Hayes, but I think, unfortunately, that is a fair comp. Traore is a teenage point guard from France who just wrapped up a season in their highest domestic league. He plays like a classic, true pass-first point guard, as he is always looking for ways to set his teammates up for easy finishes. His 5 assists per game ranked him 5th in their entire league, and remember, European bookkeepers are way more picky in what is and isn't an assist. I think he being the lead ball handler for Brooklyn, which will be a team full of young guys looking to prove they belong in the NBA, will be a good thing as it's going to make them all play more like a team. Hopefully, Yakashonas and Riley are willing to play off ball. With the 28th overall pick, the Boston Celtics select Jean Beringer. Another French national who this time spent the last year in the Adriatic League. Beringer is a tall, long, and strong 5 who can do a lot of damage above the rim but showed very little in every other aspect of the game. Boston is a great team who is not really in the major need of anything, but a new young center can never hurt. Hopefully he is able to learn a lot from the veteran bigs ahead of him on their depth chart, even if we mostly only get to see it in action in the G League. With the 29th overall pick, the Phoenix Suns select Ryan Kalkbrenner. The Suns were awful in 2025, and despite the front office's best efforts, acquiring Charlotte's backup center at the deadline was not enough to push them from lottery to contender. Who would have thought? I expect them to look for a real 5 in this year's draft, and Kalkbrenner is exactly this. The 5-year super senior showcased a great array of offensive versatility, while also rebounding well and protecting the rim at an elite rate. I expect him to be an upgrade to their starting lineup from day one. With the 30th overall pick, the LA Clippers select Rasheer Fleming. To put it very simply, I believe Fleming is a better version of Asa Newell. But the downside is that Fleming is a couple years older, as if that matters. With St. Joseph's, Fleming showcased an excellent rim finishing ability as a slasher while also proving he can knock down the long ball at a stellar 39% clip on 4 tries a game. He also was an excellent interior defender who turns stops into fast breaks with the best of them. The Clippers don't have much in the form of young talent, so Fleming would be a much desired addition. Now we are entering the second round. If you have made it up to here, thank you guys. And as a treat to you, I'm going to try to go a little bit faster the rest of these picks. With the 31st overall pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Johnny Broome. He may have been laughed at for his lack of athleticism at the combine, but Broome is a very skilled big man who can make a lot of things happen as an undersized 5. Ideally, we will see Newell and Broome share the floor as a shorter twin tower duo. With the 32nd overall pick, the Boston Celtics select Noah Penda. Another teenager from France, Penda reminds me of a bulkier and better shooting Tejan Salon. He will probably spend most of the year playing in the G League if it truly is Boston who picks him, but I think that would be good for his development. With the 33rd overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets select Alex Tui. A tall, strong, skilled forward who can move bodies in front of him or knock down pretty fadeaways and threes. Tui would give Charlotte a quality power forward they can throw out there to experience development by fire. With the 34th overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets select Chaz Lanier. Charlotte needs a lot of things. Lanier can provide floor spacing and hopefully an upperclassman maturity. He knocked down 39% of his 8 3-point tries a night last year in college. His offense would be very useful behind Edgecombe. With the 35th overall pick, the Philadelphia 76ers select Cedric Coward. An injury cut his senior year way short, but Coward showcased a stellar shooting and shot creation ability throughout his college journey that saw him rise from D3 to mid-major to Pac-12. A mighty climb that you love to see. I hope he finds success at the pro level. With the 36th overall pick, the Brooklyn Nets select Cam Jones, a senior guard whose role changed significantly between his junior and senior years as he went from a lights-out shooting guard to his team's primary creator. His deep shot took a big hit last year, but we have seen him knock it down before. He will probably get plenty of NBA court time in Brooklyn, so hopefully he refines his rhythm. With the 37th overall pick, the Detroit Pistons select Adou Tiaro, an athletic rim attacker who can make things happen defensively. A very similar archetype to Colin Murray Boyles, but not quite as impactful. Detroit loves tough defenders though, who play the wing, so I bet they would love to have him. With the 38th overall pick, the San Antonio Spurs select Hugo Gonzalez. The Spanish national Gonzalez spent the past season competing in the Spanish ACB and the EuroLeague, which is the highest level pro competition outside the NBA. Now, he didn't play very much, but he has good size, excellent strength for his age, and has dominated age group tournaments in years past. San Antonio would love a project like him. With the 39th overall pick, the Toronto Raptors select Tyrese Proctor. The upperclassman Duke point guard has seen a lot in college. He played well alongside many future pros, developing his outside shot to an excellent degree while also orchestrating a good lot even with his lottery pick teammates demanding touches. Toronto could use a backup point guard. With the 40th overall pick, the Washington Wizards select Yannick Konen Niederhauser, the hyper-athletic center who makes American talent evaluators salivate. Niederhauser needs to develop his floor game, but his high flying helped him throw down plenty of dunks and swat away many shots in college. Giving him the center role, potentially beside Alex Sarr as a forward, is probably something that would make their team very happy. With the 41st overall pick, the Golden State Warriors select Rocco Zikarsky. We cannot ignore how disappointing a year this past NBL season was for the Aussie teenage giant, as he barely got any court time with the lowly Brisbane Bullets. Rocco is still incredibly raw, but his moments sure are beautiful. Standing a legit 7'4" and jumping better than most giants, Rocco can contest any shot and finish any play at the rim. Plus, he runs the floor very well at his size. I don't think Golden State is going to use him really in any significant role, but he will have plenty time to learn in practice and in the G League. With the 42nd overall pick, the Sacramento Kings select Zion James. The Kings need better shooting from their guards, which is something Zion can hopefully bring. Enters the NBA with a strong, pro-ready body, and hopefully we can get to see his high defensive IQ translate to the NBA level. With the 43rd overall pick, the Utah Jazz select Kobe Brea, a long, sharp-shooting 5-year senior with a decent handle of the ball. Brea should bring floor spacing and a little bit of creation to a Jazz team that desperately needs it. With the 44th overall pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Michael Ruzic, a little-known 7-foot Croatian who moves and plays like a power forward rather than a 5. Ruzic did not get a lot of court time this year in the Spanish ACB or Euro Cup, but in his little bits and pieces, he showed flashes of potential. OKC would love to have him in their system learning behind Chet Holmgren. With the 45th overall pick, the Chicago Bulls select Drake Powell. In a similar vein to Carter Bryant, who is almost certainly going to be a first-round pick, Powell is a 5-star who produced very little in his freshman year, but was at the very least efficient and well-rounded. He is choosing to go pro young when he's probably not ready, which honestly I respect him for, but I anticipate many G League games ahead of him. With the 46th overall pick, the Orlando Magic select John Tonji. A 6-year super-duper senior, Tonji is a scoring guard through and through. I worry about his defensive woes and lack of playmaking for others, but he is a very strong and experienced rookie, and scoring is always important. With the 47th overall pick, the Milwaukee Bucks select Vladislav Goldin, a strong, legit 7-foot 1-inch big body who can set good screens and finish inside. Goldin played himself onto NBA radars during his 5th-year senior season. Milwaukee needs a backup 5. Goldin very well could be that man. With the 48th overall pick, the Memphis Grizzlies select Lakeland Ulbrich. Memphis lacked much of an interior presence on both ends late in the season when Zach Edey or Jaren Jackson Jr. were not out there. And Ulbrich provides this as he is a strong power forward who can handle the middle when needed. Plus, he brings championship experience as he and the Illawarra Hawks just wrapped up the 2025 NBL Championship. With the 49th overall pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Micah Peavy, a very talented all-around player who especially excelled with both scoring, connecting on 40% of his threes, and defense as he put up over 2 steals per game. He is another 5-year senior getting knocked down on the draft board just for being a bit older, but he still has a ton of room to improve, and Cleveland needs more help in the forward roles. With the 50th overall pick, the New York Knicks select Nicholas Avdalas, a Greek League unicorn in the making. Avdalas had some pretty moments this past year as an 18-year-old getting limited minutes. His versatility and poise against professional competition could turn into something special. New York might as well take a home run swing way down here. With the 51st overall pick, the LA Clippers select Victor Lakin. Centers do not grow on trees. LAC currently has Ivica Zubac and nobody else to play the 5. Lakin may not be a sure thing, but he gives them an option with upside. I like how well he moves and how good of a 3-point shooter he became late in his college career. With the 52nd overall pick, the Phoenix Suns select Ryan Nembhard. An undersized player, sure, but Nembhard more than proved he could hang against bigger competition this year, leading the NCAA Division I in assists per game, while also shooting the ball at a stellar 40% clip and snagging close to 2 steals a game. I personally don't care how tall you are, what matters is what you do on the court, and Nembhard is a very good player. Phoenix needs help at the 1, he gives them an option. With the 53rd overall pick, the Utah Jazz selected Javon Small. Utah doesn't need another forward or big man, so they opt to take the next best point guard available here. Small is a solid all-around guard, but did struggle scoring inside the arc. I can't really imagine that will get better in the NBA, but hopefully his long-range shooting can further develop. With the 54th overall pick, the Indiana Pacers select Amari Williams. The British big man is a 5-year senior who showcased great versatility last year with Kentucky. Beyond just dunking, rebounding, and shot blocking, it was his passing that most impressed me. It would be cool to see him further improve here. With the 55th overall pick, the LA Lakers select Eric Dixon, the best scorer in college who I thought had a good shot at taking the Player of the Year title. Dixon is an excellent power forward offensive creator, but he doesn't get off the ground very high, and he is set to be a 24-year-old rookie, which makes NBA teams worry. But if the Lakers want someone to help right away, this is their guy. With the 56th overall pick, the Memphis Grizzlies select Mohamed Diawara, a strong forward from France who's definitely a project, but he was pretty solid defensively and as an interior finisher in the Euro Cup. Memphis needs real forwards, this gives them another option. With the 57th overall pick, the Orlando Magic select Kobe Sanders, a do-it-all 5-year senior #1 option from a mid-major school. I'm not expecting a ton in the NBA, especially right away, but Sanders brings a very nice offensive bag of tricks to the table, especially as a passer. And Orlando could use more depth at the 2, 3, and 4 positions. With the 58th overall pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Grant Nelson, a very mobile center who can put the ball on the floor, pass pretty good, and contest shots defensively. His outside shot has a ways to go, but of all the teams where he could see himself touching the NBA court, Cleveland is a strong maybe, as they do need help as in the backup 5 role. And with the final pick of the 2025 NBA Draft at 59th overall, the Houston Rockets select Mohamed Faye, a Senegalese big man who plays best right around the basket, offering rim protection and finishing. He spent last year in the Italian domestic league playing a significant role even just as a teenager. And there you have it, my complete 2025 NBA Mock Draft 1.0. I appreciate those of you who stuck it out to the bitter end. Please let me know your top picks, especially if they differ from my own. I'm looking forward to this year's draft and of course this year's NBA Finals, which are right around the corner. Before you go, subscribe and like the video if you have not already. I will see you all next time.